Okay, hey everyone, welcome to my Superfoods relaunch. I'm so excited. I'm so happy you're here, Jordan and Allison and Marty and Pam. I'm so happy. Yeah, we're gonna be sharing kind of our stories today on how we came to Purium and how I came to Purium. And yeah, so kind of what brought me here was the fact that I have been trying really hard to get on a healthier diet, and I struggled with an addiction before. And when I would get sober, I found it really, really difficult for me to feed myself the proper nutrition, and so I felt like I would gain a bunch of weight, and then I'd feel really crappy about myself, and then I would go back out and I would use, which my drug of choice was meth. So I'm really glad that I stopped that now, because I started Purium in 2023. And was at about 171 pounds. And then I got my good friend Heather got me onto these superfoods, and I've been on this since 2023. I was a happy customer first, and once I seen my own transformation, I was just in love, and I knew that I wanted to like share this with the world. And so yeah, and that's kind of what has brought me here. And so yeah, we can um we can start if anyone else would. I have my beautiful friend Marty here. She has also been on this transformation, and would you like to share your story and how you got here,
Yes,
Marty?
ma'am. I spent quite a time. I've been interested and I've always been afraid of like diabetes and psych issues being genetic. And as I've done more research, I realized a lot of it has to do with what families eat in general. And then about 5, 6 years ago, because I was looking at vegan meals and stuff, I ran into Allison and stuff. And then, like, through time, I've been watching and following her. And in July of last year, I, well, it was November actually. November, I ordered super aminos because I had had lap band surgery about 15 years ago, and my hair started falling out. My nails were poor. I wasn't able to really use the protein because it was just an issue. Any meat, I it thatches and it causes issues. So my first product was the super aminos. I realized that there was loose skin tightening up. I had little hair start sprouting all over the place, my scalp, and it seemed like my cognition, my mental clarity was getting better. So I too was a customer to begin with, and then I was like, I want to do the ultimate lifestyle transformation and see what it's all about. And within like 2 weeks, due to all the proper nutrition, and I hate to say this, but I kind of like swear by the biomedic. It's like I know that the biomedic allowed my gut to be able to start producing serotonin. It also helped clean out a lot of C-reactive proteins that was settling in my gut. So, like, off of 3 different psych meds, off of having to take pain medicine like a Pez dispenser. So, fast forward, I've done a couple of ULTs, and the first one I lost like 45 pounds and off of a lot of meds. And I think what has really been dear to me has been the community and understanding that, you know, there's people that are coming off of psych meds or being re-diagnosed with like autism and things like that. And our community, especially the Kind Human tribe, we're very understanding about the fact that everybody is becoming awake and aware at different time periods in any ULT. And I find that incorporating it into, yeah, it's like Allison being able to get off of 5 different psych meds with this program and remaining off of those psych meds and being able to grow into who we really are without being dumbed down and incorporating this nutrition. The more diverse that our gut is, that we take in, the more diverse our gut microbiome is. So it's like I really feel like I've made a really good choice for myself. I've made a really good choice for my future. And, I have been dealing with like hip issues. And one of the biggest surprises during this whole thing is going back in and having to have a CT scan. And they're like, oh, well, you regrew a blood supply within these past 8 months. And I'm like, okay, well, that's like the nutrition. That's when your body reaches homeostasis and you start rebuilding things. So it's just not been the hair growth in the nails and the skin. It's been regrowth of what's needed inside of me. So, but I'm so happy to be here and share that story, Brittany, and I love you guys.
Wow. Thank you so much, Marty. That was such a compelling share. Like you're growing homeostasis. I can't even say it. Yeah, that's
Homeostasis.
homeostasis.
It's what we're all
Homeostasis.
capable of when we have a clean gut and diverse nutrition. Our
Yes.
bodies heal themselves.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I totally agree 100%. It's about, the quality of food we eat is equal to the quality of life we live. So I totally agree with that, definitely. I just wanted to give a shout out to my Uncle Colin and Kara for coming on. Thank you guys for being here. Yeah, we're so happy to have you. Thank you, Marty, for that beautiful share. Oh, we can move on now if you want to. Pamela, let's go, girl.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brittany's launch call here. How amazing is it that I just get to sit in a McDonald's parking lot and you can't see it, but there is greens and reds and all kinds of good stuff in there. I don't have to go into McDonald's and eat their CRAP. So when I started my transformation, there was some people who didn't think I was going to make it because I was just so depleted of nutrition from having gastric bypass surgery, which was a desperate attempt to lose weight after being so mentally ill my whole life, being on so much medication and side effect medication because of all the mental health medication, and so depressed and so unmotivated and so many suicide attempts and being in hospital so much of my life that sat around a lot. And a lot of times actually I was with security guards and stuff too, so you don't get to do a lot of stuff. So I weighed 305 pounds, and that made me even more sad and unhappy with myself. So I desperately had gastric bypass surgery, which sure I lost a lot of weight, but I gained a lot of issues like gastroparesis and malnutrition. And I had doctors telling me they just didn't know what to do. So I threw up everything. I couldn't. And my 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 system was so slow and so backed up that I couldn't take anything in, but they just didn't know what to do with So you just get an anti-nausea medication, and then that makes you sick, and then they give you crap for, well, it should be working for you. And so there was just no answers. I didn't know what to do. My daughter said to me, Mom, you're gonna have to ask for to be tube fed because you're gonna die. And so I thought, oh, I something has to be done. I had met this holistic nutritionist in Texas at a women's retreat. And so I called her because I thought, this is so, nobody else has got answers. And she told me to order this thing. I had no idea what was coming. She just said, order it. I said, okay. It came to the door, and I could drink like a shot glass of green juice without tossing my cookies. That's all I could handle. So if you don't think you can do this, you can. You might have to start small. Just start where you're at, but just start, because I mean, now I can drink 2 shakes a day. Um, and I hardly ever toss my cookies. I I mean, things are moving through my body. I'm nourished. I am creating, I'm getting like big muscles. It feels weird at my age, but I'm gaining muscle. I was showing my dad my skin elasticity, losing 170 some pounds. Your ladies can hang down well past your belt line. And now they're starting to come up. I can't tuck them into my pants anymore. And so I'm pretty proud of that. I was telling my birth dad. So it can, they will tell you that can't be done. It can be done. My bingo arms are sucking right up in there. I'm developing biceps. I never thought this, I thought I'd be dead way, way in the, like, I never would be here. Never would be here. And now I get to sit in a McDonald's parking lot and helping people build their business just by doing this. I'm visiting my birth dad, my stepmom, and got my sister with me and my dog, and I get to talk to my 98-year-old grandma about greens and my dad and his cancer and nutrition and plant seeds. So what a beautiful life. And I get to help this sweet girl right here launch her business. So she can, so we can be, we just follow Allison. So anyway, I'm kind of passionate all of a sudden. So I will pass it over back to Brittany, and thank you so much for letting me share.
Wow. Thank you, Pam. Man, I love your story. You are shining so bright now from like back where you used to be, where we used to be to now. It's such a big change, and that's so incredible to see. And I wanted to ask, like, how did the superfoods help with your mental health? Like with it? Like, how are you doing now?
So, I mean, I've actually been told that I didn't have all the mental illnesses that I had, that I just, autistic. And, but that still comes with a lot of challenges. So I can still get really overwhelmed. I can still, a lot of things can still happen. Sometimes I lose my words. Um, I can break down. But like I had a shutdown the other day, I crawl into bed with my shoes on, everything, and I rest and reset. But instead of taking months, it takes like 8 hours or less. So that is huge to me. I used to have to go in the hospital and be medicated and sometimes strapped down or have electrodes put on your head and get a little zap. And now I can just do it at home. I just crawl into bed and I get up the next day and oh, right as rain again. So
Yeah.
that says a lot right there.
Yeah, totally. That's amazing. I really love that. And I really liked what you said that you're here in a Tim Hortons parking lot. And you don't have to do anything else. Like that's what I really love about this business too, is that we can have the time freedom and location freedom to be with our loved ones and to be with the people who matter the most. And that's a big goal of mine too. And so, yeah, so thank you for your beautiful share. I really, really loved it. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. We can now go on to Allison if she would like to share her story.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you, Brittany. Congratulations on, setting this up to launch yourself. You should be so proud. And Pamela, you should be so proud. Like this is amazing what we're doing here. This is just incredible. It's really, really, this is like hearing your stories and watching Marty like start from just her aminos and watch her like just baby steps, but amazing. Like just the how it's amazing how every person who is touched by these foods just continues this progress. And we've seen now people like when I joined almost 7 years ago. And when I saw like Taz, who shared it with me, her skin was glowing. She was so confident. I was like, I'll never be like that. Like, how is that even possible? And now I am. And I always pinch myself. I mean, just the way, okay, so I started like, well, I think all of us, we all had to hit rock bottom at some point to even find this. And I think that that's kind of what brings us all together is we're the people who, like, we could have gone two ways and we made a decision to choose to live and to thrive. And, I was on 5 medications when I started this. I was diagnosed with many different mental issues, starting from a child, like from really elementary school. I was diagnosed with ADD, and I was put on Ritalin, and then I was put on other medications like the birth control and the Accutane, which I had no idea that they had side effects because at that time we're just given things and my hormones were all out of whack. My gut was all out of whack from all those medications and the foods we were eating. I was eating the standard American diet, but thinking it was healthy because it's what everyone's eating and actually eating better than most people. But really I had no idea about organic food. I had no idea about the consequences of eating certain foods on our health, really. Like I kind of just didn't really make that equation. And when I got pregnant and I was on all these medications, I really wanted to get off the medications. And actually at that time, I was able to get off my medications, I was able to get off pretty much my medications while I was pregnant. But after I gave birth, I kind of relapsed both pregnancies and I had mental health breakdowns where I went back on my medications and then I got off for pregnancy for the most part. I'm still on, actually, for my second pregnancy, I was on an SSRI. My doctor said it's totally safe. I was also self-medicating in other ways, which, just to soothe. And I knew it was after I had a really bad relapse after my second baby was born, where I was diagnosed with bipolar, and I was put on lithium, like really, really strong medication. And that's when I realized, like, that was the fifth medication I was prescribed, where I was like, and I'm only 30, I was like, 31 or something. And I was like, if this is where I'm at 31, where am I going to be? Like, there's no escape plan, there's no plan, there's no off plan, basically. And so when I see my uncle, my grandmother, a lot of people in my family in their 60s and 70s on like so many medications, like a bag of medications. And I see how normalized that is. I decided I'm not going down that path. I watched my grandmother die very, very, not a good way, not at all. No one wants to go in this way. And I realized that was the path that I was headed. And I was calling it in. I didn't know what it looked like. I was doing different things on like following different influences on the internet and sort of like dabbling in different types of healing. And I was a yoga teacher as well. So I already knew about like the power of meditation and movement. But I was missing that piece, and that was the gut. Everything, when I started to really go down the rabbit hole of truly healing what I was dealing with, because I also had eczema, I had white spots all over my body as well. I had IBS, and I was struggling with like just totally low energy and, mental health and everything. So everything was I kept finding gut health. And I tried different things, and then I feel like I manifested the whole thing when, Taz shared this with me. She found me on the internet. She found me on Facebook, and I was sharing about, I was helping other people as I was healing myself. I was trying to help other people. It's all I ever wanted to do was help people. But and some things helped me a little bit, because like when I was juicing, I felt better. So I would talk about that. When I was doing like certain fasting or doing other, protocols, I would share about it. And she saw me sharing and wanting to help people, but also still struggling, and also feeling really lost in how to monetize what I was doing, because I just didn't have the confidence to call myself like a health coach, or I didn't have the ability mentally to go back to school. I actually tried many times to go back to school into the other like psychology and other programs to help people, but it did not align with me at all. I did not want to, I always wanted to help people. When I was growing up in psychology, like going to different psychologists, I just felt like none of them really got me. And it always felt really like, it always just felt like, I don't know, there's something really missing, right? And I wanted to go back and be that psychologist that really could help someone like me and really cared. But the system keeps people like who really care, kind of keeps people, it's just, I always fell through the cracks of the school system, and through even trying to do work in different areas where I just wasn't able to use my gifts in the real way that I wanted to. Without it, it just never aligned for me. And so I was trying so many things, and I was putting myself out there, and she just reached out and she was like, I see you. I see what you're doing. I have something that can really help you. I know, like, she's been following me, and she was like, I know you're dealing with these things. And it was so like, I had been approached by different things. And so I could feel energy when it's like inauthentic. And, I would be like, ew, like, stay away from me with your, like, I don't know what kind of, whatever kind of, sometimes there's like a lot of scams on the internet, but with her, I just really trusted her, and I'm so grateful I did. It totally changed my life. Within a few days, my eczema was gone, my IBS, my mental health. I just actually started to taper down on my medications. And I love that Taz, like when she shared it with me, she was never like, all or nothing. Like she was like, she's like, this is a lifestyle, you're going to make this your own. So ease into it the same way Pamela could only handle like a shot of the green juice, or, Marty just started on the aminos. Like sometimes like we have to just allow ourselves to form a connection with these foods and build our own way. And I love that when she shared it with me, she didn't, because I was addicted to stimulants like coffee. Every single morning I would have my coffee. And so if someone had told me like, you're not allowed coffee, I may not have done it. So what she said was so brilliant. She said, you're going to start your day with the green juice just so that you can alkalize your body and really absorb all that nutrition, and you're going to feel so good. And then after an hour, then you can have your coffee. And because actually I learned, she taught me, and she really empowered me. She's like, coffee blocks some of the nutrient absorption. So she's like, you want to wait an hour after, which was great advice, because an hour after I did not want my coffee. I actually felt so energized, so good from those aminos and the gut repair and the green juice. And I just, every day felt better and better. It was pretty, like, the benefits were felt quickly, which is why I stuck with it. And Jared, my husband, like, just watched me doing it, and he started doing it. It was a real blessing in our life. Like, even just because of my mental health, it was a strain on our marriage, with my children, but especially on our marriage. And it really brought us closer together. Healing is truly like, when we heal ourselves, we can give so much more to our family, and we can be so much more. It's just so important that we heal ourselves, And so it brought Jared. I watched him have an incredible transformation, which really made me feel like I need to make this a business. Like, I need to share this with as many people as possible. And I'm just so grateful, because every person since 7 years, almost 7 years now, we've already helped over 10,000 people, like directly and indirectly, just because, Pamela and Marty and Kara and Brittany and people who do it, just, it's, the proof is in the pudding. They feel better when they have it in their life. Like, it's just, you know, it's almost like I've never seen anyone not have an improvement in their life with this. And that is contagious. And then they share it with people that are in their life. And so I just am so grateful to have said yes to this. It was so many blockages for sure that I had to get through just to say yes, because, you know, there's always, you know, things that we can make excuses and why it's like, maybe, oh, it's too expensive. You know what? It saved me so much money. Like how Pamela is now in the parking lot of McDonald's, not tempted to go in there or anything, because you're not like, when you have this, like these superfoods, they replace so many bad habits. And so I used to buy a coffee out. I used to buy, like, you know, snacks and fast food or whatever. And now at my fingertips, I bring my superfoods with me everywhere. And when I travel and everywhere I go, and I'm never tempted. And it's just, when you actually have it in your life, you realize how much it just saves you money. It saves you time. And when you feel good, you attract so much better into your life. And so it's just been a domino effect of positivity in our life. And thank you, Brittany, for having me on and to share. And thank you so much, everyone.
Wow, thank you so much. All of you ladies have such an impactful story, and I'm so grateful that you were here today to come be here and support. And Kara too. I love Kara. You're so beautiful. I got to hear your story soon too. But yeah, I am so grateful for you guys. I love this business. I love the community. I love where we're going, and I love what we're doing. And it's just been a learning curve, and it's so amazing to get paid while you heal and you get to earn while you learn. And like, it's just really, really cool. And I can't wait to help like 10,000, 100,000 people like you guys too, because everybody needs this. And I'm so grateful. So thank you all for coming. Thank you so much. We can probably,
You
yeah,
have a
end it right on
gift for your
time.
guests too. You
What's
have
that?
a gift for your guests too.
Oh, I have a gift for my guests too. I
Yeah.
have a link for you guys. If you guys with $100 off gift code to my online superfood store. So you guys can hit that up. I will leave a link. And yes, thank you all so much for coming. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you.
Best.
We'll see you guys.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Brittany. Congrats.
Thanks, Uncle.
Yeah, you got to do it.